We all know there are chips out there that don't need fans, don't we? Because now I'm going to prove that in a minute as I sort of wind down from this size. That this is the processor, remember. They're all about the same size as this in our modern computers. Quad core are all the same size as this thing. And like I say, you can't open them, you can't look at the silicon inside them, right? But that's my amazing question, right? Why do you think these things are designed to be like, they've got to be red hot in the middle or like a certain temperature to function? Why do you think it's got to be hot in the middle, guys? Because, like, what does the devil sit in? He's surrounded by fire, isn't he? He sits in, or what does a snake live in? You know, or a reptile? What did he prefer the environment to be like? Like really hot conditions, you understand? But if it was too hot, they'd burn up, wouldn't they, or fry up? So they have the fan regulating it. So you know, right now to prove that like we don't need a fan on a chip, here's one I prepared earlier. Now this is a circuit board, right? From one of these things. This is a bicycle computer. I'll try and activate it so you can see it works. Like, yo, yeah, I see. That's a bicycle computer, right? A bicycle computer, right? I took one of them, the exact same model as that actually. I used to use it and I took it apart. And what I noticed was, you know when you take these things apart, right? The bit where the processor is, which is only, look at the size of it, man, look. And please note the gold contacts there as well. You know, like gold contacts on that, you know, like the same as the Intel chip. There has to be gold on the circuit board for it to function. But there's no heatsink, right? There's no heatsink required on these. So why not have a heatsink? Why not have, there's no heatsink on these little microchips, but they need one on those Intel like super processors kind of thing, right? And what you find is when you open anything like that, like a calculator or a watch or like, you know, this is a bicycle computer, that's where the chip is there in the centre. I'll try and focus in on it as best as possible because I haven't got the macro on or anything, guys, you know what I mean? But as you can see on that, I've uncovered it. You can actually see the silicon square in the middle. Right, and if I aimed it at the light in the right direction, you'd see all the little rainbow colours and all those kinds of things, like a CD, you know what I mean, like a CD does. But as you can see, and you know what I had to do to uncover that chip? You can see it's on a, like, surrounded by this black plasticky stuff, like this resin. And if you look really close, you'll see the gold contacts that are broke. There's little tiny, where the wires were connected, like they're just only just like showing through the surface. What I had to do, same layout, see the little tiny Masonic lodges? See the row of Masonic temples in there, like little rooms, little places, little... Because they must have like Tron, you know, like Tron the movie where they ride around on like silicon digital motorcycles and things like... These guys that run these things, I bet you they live in really futuristic... Like I say, the ancients had technology, guys, and they're trying to make that meeting place between the past and the future, like, so they go... And that's what they're doing it through silicon, right? I had to file that down. That was a blob. That was like, it was like the machine in the factory must go like, you know, so the wires aren't broken or so the wires are safe. They're only little tiny wires that connect the actual chip to the circuit board, if you know what I mean, yeah? So they put this blob of resin on it that protects it. And it dries hard, and it doesn't matter how hard you hit that circuit board, you're not going to break the chip inside. So what I used to do is, I've done this to calculators, watches, everything, right? I used to just get a needle file, what we call a needle file, and file away slowly, work my way down, until the silicon starts showing through, like, as you can see, the little square in the middle. Till the silicon starts showing through, like. I mean, I know this is a boring speech, guys, but there is a thesis and a point I'm trying to make about it. Like, you know, the chips are actually Masonic temples. We can't just go busting in there, can we? There's no door we can just jump in. The only way in is electronically. Is like, say, like in the case of this fucker. As soon as I'm sitting down with my head stuck to a screen and this thing's activated and those gold points are joined, I get invited into the Masonic Lodge, don't I? And say, like, depending on which way I was inclined, I could go, oh, I'll watch some rock videos today, right? And then you got like your perverts that'll go like, I want to watch some paedophile sites. I want to watch some fucking dirty, like, you know, snuff movies or something. Just think about how deep computers can take a person off the path of righteousness, if you know what I mean. Where it can literally mislead you into all kinds of things. The next thing you know, you got the fucking Vice Squad knocking on your door saying, you checked out a kiddie porn website there, didn't you? Think about it, man. Temptation, the devil comes in the form of temptation, you know what I mean? Now, in this little thing, right, this microchip, I mean, I'll put my finger next to it so you see how small it is, like, look, see the square? That's like, it's so tiny, man. But you realise, right, you know that chip, you know that processor with its batteries connected and the whole thing, when it used to look like that? That computer there, which is off a bicycle, guys, not a processor where you know, it works out your mileage and all that. That computer, believe it or not, the chip in it which looks like that, is more powerful than the fucking computer that the NASA used to send the rockets to the moon. Just in that. That is more powerful than all of the computers that NASA used. No, if NASA had that, if I could go back in time and I gave that to NASA and say, see if that helps your moon program, it would have helped them immediately. They'd been able to, like, it'd have been easier because the calculations are faster per second or per nanosecond, if you know what I mean, like. Well, anyway, so you're with me, right? We've gone like from nothing. Look at the size. Look at the difference. Look at the size of that to that. That little tiny square there, right? And in the middle, right? In the middle, remember, that's a bicycle computer. That's a processor, right? Are you still with me, guys? We've gone from obelisks to cobbled roads, and then he needs us to shrink us. We've got to get us like shrinky dinky, so tiny we can't even fight anymore. Yeah. And then it brings us to this. Like this is my phone, you know, my Sony phone, you know. I don't hardly switch it on, right? And inside it you can hear the, you know, I'll show you the inside. It's here's the thing, right? What do we see there, guys? What do we see there? Let's see if we can get the light on it. See the gold contacts? Gold contacts. Just like the motherboard that these things will join to. Right? The golden fucking ball. And of course, in the case of this thing, right, see the little contacts there, like. And this is what it joins you to. The SIM card. And that is a very, very basic chip. Right? Because what are they putting them in now? Let's go full circle. What did I say earlier on at the beginning of the video? What's the dole made us do? Have a bank account. So that they pay our money straight into that. And eventually they can just say, well, we're not paying you today because you didn't do enough job search on the Crown copyright website, like. But there's the chip there, like, that is an actual silicon chip, or it's like more like a very basic, because it's not for calculations or anything complicated, right? And that goes in there, as I'll put it in there now so you see it joined. Once that's in contact, once that SIM card is in contact with that the gold connection in this phone, and then of course we put that in, there's your electricity supply, the battery, blah blah blah, bingo. And then I switch my phone on, and then I look at the screen, and I'm like, ping, I'm zapped into the SIM world, into the chip that we call a SIM card. So what we're seeing all around us in all directions, right guys, is we can't escape being shrink, even if we're really strong-willed and anti-system, even if we're really, like, you know, objective about it. How many of us haven't got a digital watch or a digital clock or a computer or a television? And now we've got the iPhones, right guys. this is what it's bringing us right down to, the iPhone. And then there's the chip they're going to put in our hand, the very chip, right? You should know about that by now, the very chip, right? I want to try and wrap this up quickly because, like, I need to go to the toilet, to be honest. But anyway, now what I'm going to say is, like, I remember the first adverts in 1990, roughly 1991, for a telephone company. Before they were very, well, I didn't, most of us didn't even know what a mobile phone looked like. It was only for the rich folks, right? In the same way, when these things first released, it was only rich folks, wasn't it, that started off with these things. I didn't see one of them until it was like 2005 or something. So they were, but the mobile phone was the same. If you got an early mobile phone, you had to be quite wealthy or quite well-to-do or working or whatever, right? And I remember the first adverts where it was called Cellnet. It was a company called Cellnet. Now just think about that word, net, right? Net. Cellnet. And it was a company called Cellnet. They were the first company on British television putting out adverts saying, our mobile phones are affordable and all that. And in the company logo, I don't know if it's out there on YouTube, if you can find it or whatever, anyone check his Cellnet adverts, right? See, this is what I'm saying, like, even if you didn't own the thing, we saw it on our television screens, didn't we? We'd be watching adverts on our television screens. So we were sucked into it, whether we liked it or not, if you know what I mean. It's like compulsory force feed. It's compulsory for me to use that fucking website to look for a job for the dole. I can't get working where they'll stop me dole if I don't use it, right? So you see this advert come on your screen, Cellnet, and it was like a man, like a naked man, like a Greek fucking statue kind of dude or a Roman statue dude. It was like no clothes on, and I don't know why, why he's a naked man sort of thing. And he was casting like you see a fisherman throw a net out by hand over a river. And they throw it out and they cast a net and it goes. He wasn't throwing a net out fishing. He was throwing a net out over the planet Earth. You know what I'm saying, guys? Like the Freemasonic symbol of it looks like an earth with a blanket over it. But this guy was throwing a net out and he was like a Roman, like a Roman gladiator type looking dude with muscles and everything, you know what I mean? Like so super fit, fucking handsome dude, going. Casting this net, and the net went over the whole planet Earth, and it was like a sort of net over the whole planet saying Cellnet. And well, I didn't know then, back in 91 or 90 or whatever, that everyone was going to be walking around with the advanced version of these things all going like that. If you think of it like they actually managed to shrink us down. Not me personally, I hardly use my phone, I hardly use it but I don't even switch the thing on. This is what I advise, you disconnect that fucking thing, for starters. Your golden bull chip, there's pure gold on that there, it's only like the points on the other chip, that's only painted on, you know what I mean? But I never thought when I saw that advert for Cellnet of this fucking Masonic dude throwing a net over the whole planet, that I would live to see everyone walking around the streets today. Young women, young men, old women, old ladies, middle-aged people, children, pairs of headphones on, going like that. Looking at the screens of their stupid fucking iPhones. So, what has Babylon achieved, if you think about it, from the cobblestones to the road, to the air in the tyres, to the chips, to the shrinking it down from that. That's only in the last 20 or 30 years, guys, that they've sort of managed to go from there to there. But no heatsink, remember, guys, no heatsink. You don't need a heatsink. There's no propeller on, no fan on this thing keeping it cool. Why is that? That's what I want to know. That's my technical question. If anyone knows why the chip in that doesn't need to be cooled down, but the chip in that has to be heated up and then cooled down. It has to be heated up and then a fan keeps it cool. Anyone know that, because I don't. Because I was a bit baffled by that, you know what I mean? Because I've seen one for myself without the heatsink blowing up, burning out and going, just burnt out, just caved in, doesn't work anymore. All the silicon's ruined, the Masonic temple is no longer functioning, like, inside it, like, if you know what I mean. Intel and that, like, the devil's seat or whatever, like. So if it's got to be hot, it's got to be like a snake or a lizard or some kind of advanced life form, hasn't it? You know what I mean, like. Okay, and I'm going to wind it up. Yeah, the Intel adverts, right? When this company, another compulsory force feed, when they first launched them, even though you didn't have a computer out there, right? Say you were like me, like a sort of working class person, and you didn't own one of these, but you were seeing it on your television screen. What do they do with this? What's the Intel advert famous for? What does it do that's a familiar thing? And if they still do it today, they're selling notebooks, them little miniature laptops and that. And there's still adverts on YouTube. It pops up on YouTube on the adverts when you don't even want to watch it. It just comes up, doesn't it? And you don't even get a chance to turn it off because it's like skip ad. By the time it says skip ad, you've heard the fucking, you know, the Intel little riff. Do 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 do. It does a little music, like McDonald's goes. Intel goes. Do 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 do. Like how many notes is that? Do 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 do. 4 notes. And they still use it today, the same as what they used on back in the 90s, or the late 80s, 90s, when these things were starting to boom and all the rich kids had one and people like myself didn't. We'd be watching them adverts on our television sets, right? And we'd have to hear them musical notes. So what are Intel playing at? What's the Masonic huge temple playing at? The fucking hot seat in the middle. It's making sure even if we haven't got a computer, right, even if we don't own a PC, we hear them musical notes in our living room. We've been summoned in, like I say, the Masons go, they chant, they go, oh, they make noises and sing songs and chant and use certain musical notes. So every living room in Britain, in my country for example, I don't know what it's like abroad in Europe or America, but over here we had do 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 every time a fucking Intel advert comes on, and they're still using it today. Right, now think about that, guys. What I'm saying to you is like, where they're shrinking us into their network, even if we don't want it, even if we're like the most die-hard, like fucking, you know, lighting campfires and staying out of electricity and staying away from the media, staying out of Wi-Fi and everything, the free Wi-Fi, oh whoa, have some free Wi-Fi, buy a pair of spectacles, get a pair free. Silicon fucking glasses, mate. The eyeglass, Google eyeglass, oh, get a pair of silicon spectacles, oh, look at your mates and you can tell where they live, look at a total stranger in the street with your Google glass on and you tell what their address is and all that, like. Nah, think about it, man. So, have I made my points? Have I left anything out here? Like, 'cause I think this speech is quite a good one for now, like, because it could be the last speech that I do, guys, if you know what I mean. Like, I'm taking a break from YouTube and getting depressed by it, like. I was just trying to be, like, thought-provoking and then we've got, like, disappearing aeroplanes, right? Flight simulators, remember? We've got, like, aeroplanes crashing into skyscrapers, starting off a war. We've got question marks about like, oh, it looks like a hologram, it looks real. Flight simulators, and you know, you're either in there, shrinky dink down in there, or you could be on the outside looking in, because you hardly use a computer, or you don't use an iPhone or anything like that, right? And the other thing is, what is at the centre of every swastika? You know the Nazis, because there's the big part in all of this, is that they're fucking Nazis. Look, it's black. See that? It's black, right? Isn't it black? They usually, you know, when they started making these things, it's a big black square, isn't it, with just the corner slightly cut off, like. There's the gateway into the hotel there, where the roof over the plaza, like, where the red carpet is. Right, but if you look at any Iron Cross, what the Nazis were given for bravery in the Second World War or whatever, you know, there's a raised swastika on every Iron Cross, right? An Iron Cross. And it's raised up like a swastika, yeah? Now if you take away the sort of extensions. What's at the very centre of every swastika? The very centre is a cube, isn't it? You know, if you could sort of take off the, you know, the bits that go like that. You know, cut them off. Cut all them off. And you've got a cube, haven't you, in the middle? A raised cube on every iron cross. And, you know, iron statues in museums of beasts and monsters like the fucking, what's it called, Pazuzu and all. I'm flying off on a different tangent here, aren't I? Like, but I'm trying to cram it in, like, because how long have I been speaking? Like, I'm not even sure, like. Over an hour, and that's going to take me ages to upload this, like. But I am trying to re-educate people as to stop and think why you should ditch your iPhones, guys, more than anything, like. And try and spend less time on your computers and that, like. Because our eyes are the windows to our soul, and if they take our eyes, they're closing in on the soul slowly but surely. Not mine personally, because I've got like little ways. I pray and all that kind of stuff. I believe in God and all that, like. But if this is your God, silicon, or technology, or the latest iPhones and all that shit, like, you're buggered. You're just basically buggered. You know, because these guys have been working this out for fucking donkey's years, since they've been putting the roads down from Rome, since they've been putting the fucking pyramids up and the obelisks from Egypt, and putting one in a Cleopatra's Needle in London, for fuck's sake, in Britain. You know. Anyway, I'll get off now. I think I've done enough. I don't know what the fuck. I just thought I'd say something useful and try and educate people, you know what I mean? There's a silicon chip in this camera, by the way. There's got to be, hasn't there? There's silicon chips in anything. So that's the speech anyway. It's like, what was it? How humanity shrinks into silly con. Do you get it? Silly con. You know what con is? A con is when you get ripped off, or you get fooled, or duped, or, you know, shortchanged, or silly con. Silicon. Silicon chips. Silicon chips. Silicon fucking processors. Phone towers and chips and phones and radiation and all the rest of it, like. Yeah. It's time people got off their asses, isn't it, guys, and started thinking about this. But I really strongly advise any of you guys who watch my videos, if you've got any sense, sell your iPhone, get the money for it while you can. You know, there's a shop in Birkenhead in this town, right? Car phone warehouse, or phones for us, or phones for you. And you know, you get like a £500. You know, it's like a piece. My PC cost me about £350. It's quite a budget PC, like, you know what I mean. Well, you can go into Car Phone Warehouse in Birkenhead. I don't know what it's like abroad in America or in Europe, right? I could just walk in there, even if I've got a poor credit history, right, guys? Even if I'm in debt up to my eyeballs, catalogue debts and all that, I can walk into Car Phone Warehouse, right, and say, can I have that £500 iPhone there? And, you know, as long as you give them your bank account details and you say, well, it's £30 a month. You know, the tariff or whatever is £30 a month or £25 a month. As long as I can give them bank details and prove to them that I'm either getting, even if I'm on social security, guys, not even working or nothing, like, and a poor credit history, I've got debts all over the place, they go, yeah, take this £500 phone. And you've got to ask yourself the question, like, I can't go and get like a £500 motorcycle in the same way, or like I can't go and get a Gibson Les Paul or a Fender Stratocaster. I can't walk into a music shop and say, can I have that £500 acoustic guitar there, mate? They just laugh at me, wouldn't they? They go, get the fuck out. Poor credit history, get out. But I can go into Car Phone Warehouse, right? Because I haven't been in there myself and got one. My mate has or whatever, like, he told me this is all possible. And I can go in there with a poor credit history and say, here's my bank details. I want that £500 iPhone there. And they'll go, here you go, sir. Oh, please take it. Where's your guarantee? There's your... Ask yourself, why? Why are they throwing these things at people? They just can't wait to get you in the cell net. You know, the whole planet that's completely covered in a net. And you're all trapped, shrinking. And then you've got your tom-toms and your sat-navs on your phones, in your cars, taking you into Google Earth, which is another compulsory force feed, as we've all seen on YouTube. Google Earth. For fuck's sake, guys, get out of there, you know what I mean? If you still got the sense, like, you know, wake up your fucking family and your relatives and tell them what I'm... tell them roller coaster ride sent you. Anyway, I'm fucking sound like a right lunatic. I've got neighbours above them on either side of me, you know what I mean? And I'm sitting here like a fucking lunatic doing this to try and tell people, like, warn people, like, what's coming, like, you know, the chip and that, like. So anyway, hope it explains things, the link between silicon chips and SIM card, and then you got your, hold on, before we get switch off here. 2 credit cards. There you go. SIM card. Call it chip and pin, don't we? Oh. So do you see the full circle, guys? You've got to have a bank account before Social Security will pay you. And if you've got a job, you've got to have a current account, haven't you? And they'll say, oh, we pay your wages straight into the bank. Now you got that. And then you've got your SIM card looking exactly the same. Because that's the most simplified version of a silicon chip, isn't it? Chip and pin it's called. There's actually a chip inside them, isn't it? Anyway, do you not see what I'm getting at, guys? And then we've got these fucking things that won't fucking work unless they're heated up to like check it out on YouTube, or check out any video how hot these things have to be before they function. And then how cooled down they have to be. Like a fan, like it's like me going turn the thing on, like, you know what I mean? Turn it on and then go. It keeps it cool, you know. But it is hot inside, obviously. It just keeps the surface cool and all that, like, it's like stops things overloading. Check it out, guys. Check out chips without a heatsink or any kind of forces, any, you know, there's lessons on YouTube for like building computers and all that, like. And see what these things are like when they haven't got the fan on them. Like, they blow up. They literally overheat and blow up and stop functioning. Why put that much heat in there? You know, because it's the fucking snakes and the lizards and all them lot. Like, they stay out of sight, don't they? Remember, no one sees any snake men or lizard men walking around in the street. Look at my eyes, guys. I've got proper round pupils, just in case you want. Anyway, I think I've said enough. I've got to get on to uploading this now to YouTube. It'll take me ages. It's It's the 26th of September 2014, just for the record. It's 5 to 4 in the afternoon. So when this video actually appears on YouTube, you'll see the time it takes me to render it and then put it on YouTube. It takes me ages, like. That's why I don't do many videos. It's too time consuming. But anyway, thanks for watching if you're watching, and please give me some replies and some kind of feedback, because I'm not getting anything lately, you know what I mean? I think like my channel's been bugged, or you know, the watchdogs are onto me, like, and fucking anyway. Thanks for watching anyway. Give me some feedback, some comments, so I know you're out there, guys, or someone's out there. Anyone out there? Hey, get your eyes off your fucking iPhones and fucking wake up, will you? For fuck's sake.